the feeling you know too well. You're in a relationship, romantic, family, maybe even a friendship that started with promise. They seemed charming, attentive, maybe even a little vulnerable. But somewhere along the way, things shifted. Now you find yourself questioning your own memory, apologizing for things you're not sure you did, walking on eggshells, monitoring their mood constantly, feeling drained, small, and utterly confused. If this scene makes your chest tighten with recognition, you're not alone. More importantly, you're not crazy and you're not the problem. Today, we're going to look beneath the surface of a deeply misunderstood dynamic. Not to villainize, but to understand, because understanding is the first step toward freedom. When most people hear narcissist, they picture someone arrogant, flashy, and self absorbed. The person who talks about themselves for hours, who needs to be the center of attention, who's clearly, obviously, difficult. And that description fits one type. But it misses something crucial. Narcissism exists on a spectrum, and it doesn't always look like what you'd expect. What clinical narcissism really is, narcissistic personality disorder is a complex mental health condition characterized by a pervasive pattern of grandiosity, a constant need for admiration, and a profound lack of empathy. But what does it actually look like in real life? Common misconception 1. They love themselves too much. Reality. They have a fragile sense of self that requires constant external validation. Misconception 2. They're just confident. Reality. Their confidence collapses without admiration. Misconception 3. They don't care what anyone thinks. Reality. They're actually desperately dependent on others' opinions to feel okay. The main key insight? Healthy self-esteem is stable. It doesn't require constant feeding. Narcissistic patterns, by contrast, create a hunger that can never be satisfied because the validation they seek can never fill the emptiness inside. This dynamic creates relationships that are fundamentally one-sided and transactional. The narcissist's needs take precedence, period. And those on the receiving end, partners, friends, family members, gradually find themselves feeling drained, undervalued, and invisible. Now, if you're thinking, but the person in my life doesn't match that flashy stereotype, pay close attention here. Because there's a variation that flies under the radar, and it's often the most confusing to experience: the covert or closet narcissist. Unlike the overt narcissist who demands center stage, the covert narcissist operates from the shadows. Let me show you the difference. Overt narcissist, look at me. Covert narcissist, poor me. Overt, demands attention directly. Covert, demands attention through suffering. Overt, openly arrogant. Covert, appears shy, self-effacing, vulnerable. Overt, I'm better than everyone. Covert, no one understands how hard I have it. Overt, obvious manipulation. Covert, passive-aggressive manipulation. Here's what makes the covert narcissist so difficult to identify. They present as the victim. They may seem sensitive, wounded, misunderstood. They might cry easily. They might talk about how others have wronged them. They might appear to be the one who's struggling in the relationship. But beneath that vulnerable exterior lives the same core patterns, the same sense of entitlement, the same lack of genuine empathy, the same need for admiration, just delivered through a different channel. Their manipulation is subtle. They use guilt trips disguised as vulnerability, silent treatment framed as needing space, passive-aggressive comments you can't quite call out, a narrative where they're always the wronged party. This subtlety is devastating, because when you try to name what's happening, they can point to their tears, their struggles, their sensitivity. You end up questioning your own perceptions. You feel like you're the one who's being unreasonable. This is not an accident. It's the design. If you've ever tried to have a real conversation with someone exhibiting these traits, you know this experience. You start with a concern, a feeling, a request for change. And somehow, by the end, you're defending yourself, apologizing, wondering what just happened. This isn't because you're bad at communicating. It's because rational discussion requires both parties to value reality and mutual understanding. When criticism is perceived as a narcissistic injury, a threat to the fragile self, defensiveness isn't a choice, it's a survival response. The psyche goes into protection mode, and protection mode doesn't play fair. Common tactics to watch for: gaslighting. That never happened. You're imagining things. You're too sensitive. This makes you doubt your own reality. Word salad. Circular arguments that go nowhere, changing the subject, bringing up unrelated past events. This exhausts you into submission. Projection. Accusing you of exactly what they're doing. This keeps you on the defense. Triangulation. Bringing in a third party to validate their version. This isolates you, makes you question your support system. Love bombing. Overwhelming affection after conflict. This creates confusion and hope, strengthening the trauma bond. The danger isn't just in the arguments themselves, it's in the cumulative emotional toll. Over time, being systematically invalidated erodes something fundamental: your trust in your own perception. You may experience anxiety, walking on eggshells, never knowing what will trigger a reaction. Depression, the slow, heavy grief of being unseen in a relationship. Loss of identity, your feelings, needs, and opinions slowly fade as you adapt to their reality. Physical symptoms: exhaustion, tension, illness from chronic stress. This is not weakness. This is what happens when a human being is systematically deprived of validation and reality testing. If you recognize these patterns, you might be asking yourself, why can't I just see clearly? Why do I stay? Here's what makes it complicated: the trauma bond. Intermittent reinforcement, the mix of occasional warmth with consistent invalidation, creates a powerful bond. The good moments feel so relieving that they outweigh the bad. You stay for the crumbs of kindness. The hope. You remember who they could be. The glimpses of connection keep you believing that if you just try harder, love better, say the right thing, they'll finally see you. The gaslighting effect. When you've been told your perception is wrong for years, you stop trusting it. Leaving requires trusting yourself again. The fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of their reaction. Narcissistic injury can trigger escalation. Fear of starting over. Fear that maybe, just maybe, they're right and you are the problem. The grief. Leaving means grieving not just the person, but the relationship you thought you had, the future you imagined, the love you gave that wasn't returned. These are not signs of weakness. They're signs of humanity. You cannot change another person, but you can change how you respond. You can protect your energy. You can rebuild your sense of self. Here's how. Step 1, name it. Start a private journal. Write down what happened, how you felt, what they said happened. Over time, patterns emerge. Your written record becomes an anchor when you start to doubt yourself. Step 2, stop explaining yourself. Narcissistic dynamics thrive on endless explanation. Try this instead. I've told you how I feel. I'm not going to explain it again. Then stop. Silence is uncomfortable. Let them sit in it. Step 3, shift from engagement to observation. Instead of getting drawn into emotional conversations, practice observing. I notice you're upset. That's an interesting way to see it. I need to think about that before responding. These phrases don't engage, they observe. They keep you out of the emotional vortex. Step 4, anchor yourself in external reality. Gaslighting works best in isolation. Reconnect with a therapist who understands narcissistic dynamics, one trusted friend who knows you well, support groups online or in person, books and resources that validate your experience. Step 5, create boundaries that stick. Boundaries need to be simple, not lengthy explanations. Consistent, same boundary every time. Enforced, if they yell, you leave the room. Step 6, tend to your nervous system. Living in these dynamics creates chronic stress. Your body needs support. Gentle movement, breath work, guided meditations, time in nature, these aren't luxuries. They're medicine. Whether you stay or leave, healing is possible. It involves Rebuilding self-trust, learning to believe your own perceptions again. Start with small decisions. Build from there. If you find yourself grieving what wasn't real, grieving the relationship you thought you had, grieving the person you believed they could be, grief is not a sign you made a mistake. It's a sign you're human, so be gentle on yourself. And reconnect with yourself, your interests, your friends, your opinions, and your voice. The parts of you that got smaller to keep the peace, they're still there. They're waiting. If nothing changed, if this dynamic continued exactly as it is for another year, 5 years, or 10 years, would you be okay with that? Your answer matters more than their promises, more than their potential, more than the good moments. You're not too sensitive, you're not crazy, and you're not the problem. What you're experiencing is a predictable pattern with a name, and naming it is the first step toward freedom. Healing isn't linear. Some days you'll feel clear and strong. Other days you'll doubt everything. That's okay. That's human. One moment of peace at a time. One truth at a time. One step at a time, you'll find your way back to yourself. If this resonated with you, I've created resources that might help. The Drama Doctor, a guide to escaping the drama in your life. You can find it on Etsy. There's a link in the description. It includes boundary scripts, worksheets, and tools for reclaiming your reality after emotional manipulation. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel, Moments of Peace, for more psychology-based insights and healing practices. Take care of yourself. You matter.